In today's video, we're going to have a look at circles. So I've got three different questions here to have a look at. The first one is just asking me to find the circumference and area for each. Okay? Just to remind you, remember the circumference is pi d, pi times the diameter, and the area is pi times r squared, the radius squared. Okay, so let's look at this first one. They've given us the circumference, so that's easy enough. So that's going to be pi times 20. If I work that out, I'll use a calculator for these. Remember, you've got a pi button. If I use shift and then that one, turn it on first, that always helps. Shift and that one times 20. And pressed equals, it gives me 20 pi. I don't really want that, I want a decimal. So if I press that, it tells me it's about 62.8. Just round sensibly with these ones, so 62.8 would do fine. And not forgetting our units of length, so centimetres. Now in the second one, we've got that the diameter is 20, so the radius will be half of that. Yes, remember the diameter is twice the radius. So the radius will be 10. And I need that for the area. So if I have a look at it, the area is going to be pi times the radius squared, which is 10 squared. Okay, again, I can work that out on my calculator. All we do, we put in pi times 10, and we've got a squared button. Work it out, tells me 100 pi, don't really want that. Turn it into a decimal, you've got 314.2 if we're rounding to one decimal place. And remember that's an area, so it's centimetres squared. Using the same formula again with the next one, but here they've given us the radius. So remember, the diameter's twice the radius. If I work that out, it's 34 centimetres. So you've got 34 centimetres for the diameter there. So the circumference will be pi times 34. If I work that out, again using my calculator, gives me 34 pi, change it to a decimal, 106.8. And that's centimetres. And they also asked me for the area. Well, they've given us the radius, so it's pi times 17 squared. So, pi times 17 squared gives me 28. I put in 17 cubed. It's going to be pi times 17 squared. Did it again. Squared. Let's do it again. Pi times 17 squared, 289 pi, change it to a decimal, 907.9. And remember, it's an area. Sometimes they give us questions, okay? Like this one, it's a problem. This cake has a circular cross section with a ribbon around it. Given that the ribbon must overlap by 5 centimetres, what length of ribbon is needed? Well, look, they've told us that the diameter there is 40. Yes? So round the cake, okay, would be pi times 40, which if I work it out on my calculator, (40 pi, s to d to turn it into a decimal, gives you 125.7. But that's not the end. They said it must overlap by 5. So the ribbon needed will be 125.7 plus 5 for the overlap, which gives me 130.7 centimetres to one decimal place. Okay? So we could see it was just the circumference of this, which we worked out, same as before. Then, because they said it had to overlap by 5, we had to add on 5 centimetres. And it's a length, so it's centimetres. Last one, they've asked us to work out this area here. I would think, first of all, look, that's a rectangle. Take away quarter of a circle, isn't it? So I can think of it like that. So a whole circle, they've given us that the radius is 10. So the area of the whole circle would be pi times 10 squared, which we've already worked out was 314.2 centimetres squared. We did that in basically it's the same circle as we got there. Yeah, radius of 10. Okay, so we've got the radius of 10 centimetres. Now, that's the whole circle, so a quarter of the whole circle would be that divided by 4. Which gives me 78.6 if I'm working to 1 decimal place. So I now know what a quarter of the circle is. The rectangle, yes, is just length times breadth. Now, if that's 10 centimetres, because it's a circle, that also has to be 10 centimetres. So the rectangle is going to be 10 times 15, which is 150 square centimetres. So the area of this shape is going to be 150, take away 78.6, which gives me 71.4 centimetres squared. Okay, so I did it one bit at a time. I said, look, this shape was a rectangle, take away quarter of a circle. I worked out the area of the circle, divided it by 4 to give me the quarter of the circle. Remembered that with a radius, that bit must be the same as that bit, so we knew the width of the rectangle, so we did the area of the rectangle, and then we took away the quarter of the circle, which is the bit that's been cut off. Okay, and we don't forget our units are squared centimetres. Okay, that's a few questions which should enable you to have a go at the questions on circles. Remember, if you do get stuck, I have put full worked solutions at the end, so you can always have a look at them. Or you can ask me on a drop-in session, or you can post a question on Teams, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Have a good day.